Hey everyone, let's talk about the Coyotes and Leafs as potential trade partners. Obviously, a lot of chaos happening behind the scenes in the Coyotes organization right now, but this is specifically leading into the trade deadline. Shout out to McCluskey on Twitter. I actually love this thread. I've been talking about Arizona and Toronto as a trade partner again, potentially. I've talked about Toronto and Calgary primarily, but they've talked about, and a lot of insiders have talked about, that Toronto is specifically talking to a Western Conference team, like basically on the weekly, like quite often. And everyone thinks it's Calgary. I think it's Calgary. But Arizona as like the wild card team in this could be interesting. So this thread's great. My thoughts on Arizona as a trading partner for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, seeing Matthews and Keller together at the All-Star game got everyone's wheels turning. But beyond that, Keller is exactly the type of player with term who the Leafs should be considering if they're looking to convert their ready-tomorrow assets into ready-now players. Arizona, I don't think the Coyotes are trading Keller. But this is relevant to the conversation of what do you value? Do you want to trade like first round picks and like B plus level prospects for a potential rental? Or do you want to trade the A to A plus level prospects or young players like a Nyes or Cowan to get a stud, right? So Nyes, Robertson, Cowan, Minton, there's not a name you feel guilty mentioning if a player in a contract of Keller's caliber is coming back. I agree with those who feel the Leafs cannot afford to mortgage their future on rental players this year, but more importantly, I agree with those who feel the Leafs cannot afford to stand pat, be anything less than aggressive while our window is open. Arizona has a number of other attractive players with term and value, Krause, McBain, Bukestad. I would take McBain out of that, just my personal preference. Bukestad's interesting. I love Lawson Krause. They also go as well as some options with Control at Hayton and Dursey, both pending RFAs. Dumba's there on an expiring deal. There's plenty of unrest in Arizona, plenty of uncertainty with respect to their future, plenty of reason to believe their players are open to, if not hoping for, a change of scenery. Let's not forget, Trey Living and Doan are well connected in Arizona. There's good reason to believe they're very in tune with all that's going on down there. Very in tune. Yeah, folks, I'm sure some of you forgot Shane Doan's in the Leafs organization. Yeah, that's a thing. Too close. Here's an interesting question I was asked recently. Could the Leafs acquire Shea Weber's contract to create leverage in a deal with Arizona? Arizona is carrying Shea Weber's contract on LTIR for 2 more years of this one. It's an $8 million cap hit, which means it's a significant burden for a cap team to take on, impacting their ability to accrue cap space and therefore making it more challenging to make moves at the deadline for the next 2 seasons. Granted, Trey Living's not a deadline guy historically anyway. The point was made that Arizona, a budget team, can't afford to have dead money on the payroll. True, but it's also worth noting that Weber's only owed $1 million per year in real salary, so the financial burden isn't awful for the Coyotes. That was the conversation right off the bat. When I made that video when the Coyotes originally acquired Weber, it made a lot of sense. They just keep Weber as like IR roster player, whatever, and it goes against their cap space. They're only paying $1 million a year, right? If they're using Weber's cap hit to get to the cap floor, it saves them money, which was the intended purpose in acquiring the contract. While it seems unlikely that any deal would involve Weber's contract, I always appreciate this type of ingenuity. Is this the Western Conference team rumored to be working with Toronto? I've got no idea, but it should be. This got a lot of views. I honestly just gave it a shout because I've been talking about Krause, I've been talking about Bukestad, I'm talking about Dumba. There's options there, and I feel like there's cheaper options outside of Krause. I think Krause would take a bit to get from Arizona, but between Bukestad and Dumba, I feel like especially Dumba. Yeah, Dumba has a lot of flaws to his game, but right shot guy, can play with a bit of a bite sometimes. I just feel like there's more there from Dumba. I feel like there's more, and he's shown signs in Minnesota. He's had more of an opportunity in Arizona this year. I feel like if the Leafs were really trying to get out of the Brody situation and really find a change of scenery, Dumba could be that guy. I'd like to give Dumba a shot. I'll just put it out there. I would think if you were to acquire like a Tanev from Calgary or a Hanif from Calgary and then also go for a trade like Dumba, I mean, I'd be down to see a look of like a Hanif and Dumba as a second pair if that was ever the scenario. So I just wanted to talk about this quick. Got to give a shout to McCluskey, but I mean, this is a cool thread. I like people that honestly just put themselves out there because, I mean, hey, I have someone on YouTube that I just put myself out there with the takes. So respects to the take, respects to the conversation. I think Arizona could be one of the wildcard teams involved with Toronto for a potential trade. And at the same time, I still think it's probably Calgary is the favorite, but who knows? So subscribe, like, comment, notification bell, everyone. Definitely leave your comments down below, and we'll talk soon. Peace.